You know, your body is a survival machine and it cares more about surviving than how much you're jiggling. What I mean by jiggling is that extra fat we carry, which actually makes our body feel really secure. So if you're trying to lose weight and it always seems to stall, or you've hit yet another weight loss plateau, that's what we're going to talk about today.
Hi, Dana and Robin here with Lean Healthy Ageless and the authors of the Eat, Live, Thrive diet. If you're a woman 45 plus that's looking to experience your best health, your best vitality, and your best body no matter what your age, you have come to the right place.
Well, let's dig in. We've got 7 main reasons why someone hits a weight loss plateau. Before we tell you those 7, let's just define what a plateau is.
Well, plateau is when you have not lost any weight or any inches in at least 2 weeks or more.
And so you're doing both. You're weighing and measuring, because if you lost a couple inches, you're not in a plateau. You're just not seeing it on the scale yet.
Right. A lot of times our body will be shrinking and the scale just hasn't had time to catch up with it yet. So that is not a plateau. It's when you haven't seen either of those change in at least 2 weeks.
And a plateau is normal. It's to be expected. There's nothing more fun. Well, maybe there's a few things more fun, but it's really fun when you first start a diet and maybe you haven't been dieting for a while and you get that immediate gratification the first week or two. You know, obviously you're losing some water weight, but you're making some significant changes and you see this 2 or 3 or 4 pound weight loss the first week, maybe even the second week, and your expectations get set unrealistically. And you know, the difference between expectations and reality is called your misery factor. So you need to have realistic expectations of what a plateau is and that it will occur, because it is absolutely normal. We do not lose weight consistently, you know, every single week the same. So let's get to the 7 main reasons why we hit what we call a plateau.
Number 1, so you started out strong, maybe you were losing some weight, doing really good, and maybe you kind of started slacking a little bit, not really realizing, maybe you're eating all of the same really healthy foods and good foods for your body, but maybe you're just eating too much of those. Maybe you're taking in too many calories, or maybe you're taking in too many starchy carbohydrates. This is something that we will see with our coaching clients. Many times they just don't realize how much they're actually taking in, especially if they're used to eating large volumes of food.
And by the way, we have taken dozens and dozens of clients through these plateaus, and there are so many different reasons. Part of what we do in coaching is figure out why they're hitting the plateau. And when you ask them key questions, you can usually uncover that. Of course, one of the solutions for this number 1 issue is what we call a reality check. Now, Robin's not a numbers girl. I'm kind of a numbers girl. But on occasion, even if you don't like counting calories or carbohydrates, if you can do a 3 to 4 day reality check and see what you truly are eating, both calories and carbos, and if you wear something like a Fitbit or some other kind of activity monitor and how many calories you're burning, that's going to give you a really good idea.
Number 2 would be eating the wrong foods. So on our diet, the Eat, Live, Thrive diet, you have eliminated quite a few what we call food culprits, foods that are potentially going to cause sensitivity to many people. They're kind of well known. And then when you go through the discovery phase, which is the second phase of the diet, you're actually testing those foods. Well, sometimes you test and you believe that a food might not be causing you a sensitivity, but in actuality, it really is. It just you needed to have it maybe a little bit longer to show that. Weight gain or the inability to lose weight is one of the symptoms, just one, of food sensitivity. So that's a possible reason why you're hitting a plateau. The other thing is maybe you're eating too much processed food, too much sugar, and then of course we talked about carbohydrates earlier and about eating too many carbohydrates. Sometimes it's not like the actual number, but it's the type of carbohydrates, those high glycemic starchy carbohydrates that are just converting to sugar too quickly in your system and then therefore converting to fat.
Especially if you're an ageless, aka mature woman. Our ability to utilize carbohydrate decreases every year over 30, and many of us have to bring down those high glycemic carbohydrates a lot.
And I just want to mention, one of those food types is not always a starchy carbohydrate. For some women, they have a inability to convert the carbohydrates from fruit into energy, and their body stores it as fat. That's actually one of the questions that we ask many of our coaching clients, and it might be an area that we have them tweak their diet in if they've hit a plateau.
It is amazing how everybody is so different, and certain things, some people can eat 2 or 3 fruits a day and do great. We have clients that can't eat much more than a few berries now and then. Well, number 3, it is the down regulation of your metabolism. What does that mean? That means that you've been dieting for a while. You've probably, if you've been doing a really good job at it, you've been eating significantly less, maybe with less calories and less carbohydrates. Remember at the beginning, I said your body is a survival machine. And especially for women, women's bodies are so afraid that you're not going to have enough fat on store. If you're still menstruating, it wants to have enough fat to grow a baby. I mean, we're just wired that way. And so we have to have this very gentle approach. Sometimes you are under eating, and this is something we find a lot with our clients.
Yeah, we find that either they're under eating too little calories, or maybe they're actually under eating too little carbohydrates. And that will put their body into that survival mechanism where it's saying, hey, I'm not getting enough. I'm afraid. And so everything that you put in this body, I'm going to hold on to. I'm going to store it as fat. And so this is, again, the type of thing that we ask a lot of questions of our coaching clients when we get on our live coaching sessions. You know, all these little nitty-gritty questions to say, what's happening? What are you doing on a regular basis? And it's amazing. For some women, just adding a little bit extra carbohydrate or that extra 100 or 200 calories.
I'm thinking of Debbie.
Oh, yeah.
She was so scared because we were like, no, you need to eat at least 200 calories more a day, and you need to eat maybe 30 or 40 more grams of carbohydrate. She was freaking out. She was stuck at 25 pounds. She wanted to lose another 10 pounds. She followed our advice, and for about 2 weeks, she didn't gain, but she didn't lose. And then she ended up losing her last 10 pounds because she was under eating. Her metabolism was starting to slow down. She had to get it to trust her. This is especially important for women, especially women over 45. And if you've been doing a lot of dieting.
That's what I say. For women that have like yo-yo dieted or just been on a diet their whole life, this is a huge one for you. You'll lose initially, and then you hit that plateau, and then you're so scared to eat, you know, a normal amount of calories that you kind of stay there. And that's where a lot of people give up.
They do. And that's the part to realize, kind of setting your new weight loss, if you say you lost 20 pounds, and just resting in the fact that it could be 2 weeks, 4 weeks, sometimes even 6 weeks, where you're just going to establish that weight loss, let your body trust you. And then we're going to teach you a few things here at the end of this video of how to actually break through and get weight loss cooking again. But let's look at number 4.
Well, number 4 is stress. And of course, that can be emotional stress, could be physical stress, could be other type of mental or hormonal stress. And when our body is stressed, we tend to pump out more cortisol. That's a hormone that our bodies need, but if you pump out too much, it is a fat storing hormone.
And it's a stress hormone. And so, you know, if you are under stress, sometimes we don't even know it. I had it show up on my annual blood work that I was in adrenal fatigue, and definitely that's, you know, a stress response. It can be physical or mental or emotional, and I didn't even know it. So a couple quick pointers, obviously, you know, stress. What do we need to do? Find ways to decompress on every level: mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. We can take some supplements. There's a couple favorites. Rhodiola is a wonderful supplement for mind, body, and soul stress. It comes alongside and just helps have your body have some resilience. Within another favorite supplement, HPA Adapt. Rhodiola is one of the ingredients, but it has some others that help that whole, it's called the HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal glands come into balance. And these can help you if you're under some chronic stress. I take it every day.
Maybe you are one of those women that have been doing the Eat, Live, Thrive diet. You've got the book and you've been having great results, and you're hitting one of these plateaus. What I want to encourage you to do is come join us in the Eat, Live, Thrive Academy. We do 2 live coaching sessions per week, and this is the best place that you can get down into the nitty-gritty. We have helped so many of our coaching clients break their plateaus because we're actually on video with them or on the phone with them, asking them questions about what they're eating, how they're exercising, what's their sleep like, what's their hormones like, all these questions. And we can really break it down and give them suggestions to tweak their program to break that plateau. It's a super inexpensive monthly fee. You can cancel it at any time. If you want to learn more about it, go to eatlivethriveacademy.com. Well, let's go on to the next reason for plateau.
Well, number 6 is your hormones may need a break. When you've been dieting for a while, sometimes your testosterone will drop. That's it's the male hormone, but females have it too, and it's what helps us build muscle and gives us some strength and endurance. But also a hormone called leptin, which is a fat-burning hormone, it can drop. So sometimes your hormones just need a break. Not to mention, if you are, whether a peri or postmenopausal woman, hormones out of whack can definitely create a stall in weight loss. You're a great example, Robin, when you had that estrogen issue.
I was so estrogen dominant about 10 years ago, and I was doing everything right. I was exercising like a fiend. I was eating really, really clean and lean, and nothing was happening. I was stalled. And I went to my doctor, and he said, Robin, you are not going to drop any weight no matter what you do right now. And I'm like, why? He said, you're so estrogen dominant. I had so much estrogen and so little progesterone that my body was just holding on to all of that fat. And so with a little help from some natural bioidentical hormones, he got me on that, and my body was able to actually start releasing the weight. And I did make some major diet changes, which you would find in the Eat, Live, Thrive diet.
Number 7 is just something to consider, that you might have some kind of a deficiency, some kind of a system malfunction, if it were, because who knows, maybe your thyroid is off, maybe vitamin D is off. Sometimes if we haven't had our annual blood work, we don't know what's going on beneath the surface. And remember, your body is a survival machine. It cares more about putting its energy into finding what's called homeostasis or balance more than it does losing weight. Losing weight is not a high priority. So if you haven't gotten your blood work done, a comprehensive panel every single year, that can be an important part of not only breaking through a plateau, but just being healthy and being, as vital and high energy as you can be.
Again, I want to just emphasize that being in a plateau is not a bad thing. Go ahead and embrace it. Allow your body to be in this place of getting to its new set point, starting to feel comfortable at this new weight that you started at one level and now you're down to another. So awesome for you. Now let your body catch up with you and say, okay, this is a new place. Let me get comfortable here. And then let's see if we can move to the next level. And here's some solutions for that too.
Well, we mentioned this earlier, but it really is helpful to log, even if you're doing kind of a simplistic portion control. In the Eat, Live, Thrive diet in the lifestyle section, we give our readers 2 ways to approach lifestyle. By the numbers, which is literally counting calories and carbohydrates, or what we call keep it simple, which is having a already determined amount of portions you're going to have of certain foods. If you can log that, and we have little worksheets in the book that just make it so helpful, you can visually see what's going on, and that's going to help you stay on track and break through the plateau.
By the way, Dana, those worksheets are also on our website for free download at eatlivethrivediet.com.
Another reason that we didn't mention in that list of 7 that you may be in a plateau is if you are not getting enough physical activity. Actually, both aerobic activity and especially muscle work. If you want to kick yourself out of a plateau once you've given your body that little bit of break to adjust, adding muscle work, or if you're already doing muscle work, notching it up, can be exactly what you need to get your body burning again.
And I do want to mention, sometimes if you add that muscle work and that additional exercise, sometimes you might actually see the scale go up a pound or 2. One is because as you're working out, many times our cells and our muscle is actually holding a little bit more water. And the other reason is muscle weighs more than fat.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Additionally, when it comes to just your cardiovascular, general big muscle movement, notching up and exercising a little bit longer is helpful for some people. Now, if you're a person that's exercising like crazy and not eating enough, it might be the opposite for you, and that's the case for a small percentage of the population. But some of you, maybe you're getting, a 30-minute walk 3 times a week. That may not be enough. If you're a mature woman, if you're over 45, guess how often you need exercise? Almost every single day. If you're not moving forward at our age, I'll say our age, Robin's 53, I'm 67, especially me. If I'm not moving forward, I am literally moving backward. My muscles are atrophying within 24 hours if I don't work them. So again, there's a balance. As a mature woman, we don't want to overdo it, but we want that consistency. Our body needs to know we're using it. We need to get the metabolism stimulated. Another thing is helpful if you've been doing the same workout forever and you're in that plateau, it's a great time to shake it up. I like to go on the treadmill. I go on the treadmill at 12%. If I get on the elliptical or do some hiking or do something different, that shakes it up. Same with your weight workout. If you've been doing, say, bands or whatever, and you move to some free weights or just some different kind of workout where you're using the muscles differently, it stimulates muscle growth, and muscles are the engine of the body. Okay, another tip. You know how powerful your thoughts are. We share a study in Eat, Live, Thrive Diet called Mind Over Milkshake, where a study was done where this milkshake was concocted and it was split into 2 batches, and one batch was labeled Senses Shake and it was labeled as 300 calories and no fat. The other was labeled Indulgence. It was labeled as 600 calories and full of fat and sugar. And do you know what happened? The people that drank the Indulgence shake had a shift in the hormone that says they're satiated that was way higher than the other group who drank the same shake. The power of just what you expect to happen if you say, I never lose weight. My body won't ever release fat. You know, I don't know how God designed us this way, but we have such a mind-body connection, not to mention just some of our unhealthy habits of emotional eating and so forth. And we spend 2 chapters in Eat, Live, Thrive Diet helping you change your habits from the inside out, because how you think does affect your physiology and definitely your actions.
And this is another area that we coach women specifically in the Eat, Live, Thrive Academy, because when we're on those live coaching sessions, we hear what they say. We hear the words coming out of their mouths, which is a lot of times the lies that they're believing. And so we help them create those healthy self-talk statements to counteract the negative lies that they're believing. And guess what? It makes all the difference for them.
Well, one more little thing, if you haven't tried it, intermittent fasting, we call it the ELT eating cycle, the Eat, Live, Thrive eating cycle. We have kind of a kinder and gentler approach for mature women. It can shake things up a little and help. Or if you have been intermittent fasting, you might need to take a break from it if you've been on a prolonged plateau.
Well, we hope you take action on some of the steps that we've encouraged you to do so to break your plateau. And if you want more information on just being supported more through our coaching and our live coaching sessions, we have the link here. It's eatlivethriveacademy.com, and you can just click on it and learn more.